doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
العالم بسوريا وبشعبها لتستعيد بذلك دورها الإقليمي والدولي الذي تستحق وبعد إزالة العوائق ورفع العقوبات لم نصل إلى النهاية بعد بل نحن في بداية طريق طويل ومستدام كله كرامة وعزة ونهضة وبناء وإعمار وتنمية وحضارة.
السيدات זו לא עמדה חדשה שלו, עמדתך לגבי הקמת מדינה פלסטינית.
אני נגד הקמת מדינה פלסטינית, אמרתי את זה בהרבה מאוד מופעים, מעולם לא אמרתי שהפתרון הוא שתי מדינות לשני עמים, כמו נתניהו שחזר על זה בשלושה עשורים האחרונים ב4 או 5 מקרים. אני טוען שבמציאות שנוצרה החתירה לשלום עכשיו ולשתי מדינות לשני עמים היא לא ריאלית, היא לא נכונה מבחינה אסטרטגית והיא סיכון למדינת ישראל.
איך אתה מגדיר את עצמך?
כי בתחבולות תסיים מלחמה. כי האופן שבו הוא ניהל את המלחמה עד אז זה מציאות כאוטית, מזדמנת, תוצאתית, בלי חשיבה אסטרטגית. והיום חלק מהאנשים שלו הופכים את האופן שבו הוא ניהל או לא ניהל. חלק מהמלחמה התנהלה על ידי כוחות פוליטיים. להסביר למה זה לקח 3 שנים, זה בניגוד מוחלט לתפיסת הביטחון של ישראל, וזה מסביר למה שילמנו מחירים כל כך כבדים ולא מימשנו את הישגים הצבאיים של צה"ל להישגים מדיניים ובינלאומיים, ומדינת ישראל משלמת היום מחירים אדירים בעולם אחרי מלחמה צודקת מאין כמותה.
בהתחשב בעובדה.
Has 2 types of attack weapons, unitary and cluster. The press reported that nearly all of the attack weapons were used. Did the United States use both unitary and...
Why would I answer? I mean, this is kind of a stupid question I would never answer. Like, why would I answer a question about whether we do or do not have certain types of munitions? I will tell you we have 110%, or I'll tell you we have one. I would never answer that question. And the press is foolish to want to press. An American press is foolish to want to press an American War Department about where we may or may not be on classified exquisite systems. I'll just tell you this: we had plenty when we needed it, and we have plenty now, and we have plenty when we'll need them in the future.
Операції «Буря в пустелі» і працювали в Іраку. Що людина, яка бачила війну, розуміє про цю війну такого, чого можуть не розуміти ані Вітков, ані Кушнер?
Вони ніколи не бачили нічого подібного. Я маю на увазі, це як сказати, я не зміг би займатися нерухомістю. Розумієте? Вони не можуть зрозуміти війну, усю складність війни, особистий фактор, фактор вашого противника. І є давній вислів. Книга Сунь Ци «Мистецтво війни», написана близько 500-го року до нашої ери. І один із її принципів говорить, якщо ти розумієш себе і розумієш ворога, ти виграєш 100% своїх битв. Якщо ти розумієш себе, але не розумієш ворога, ти програєш половину, буде 50/50. І якщо не розумієш ані себе, ані ворога, програєш усі бої. І я не думаю, що вони добре розуміють Росію та її можливості. До речі, те саме я би сказав про себе в нерухомості. Вони цьому не навчені. Це не їхня ключова компетенція. Я думаю, що їхня участь у перемовинах – це помилка. Не тому, що вони погані люди, ні. Вони хороші, а тому, що вони цього не розуміють.
Які насправді?
Переважна більшість підтримує Україну і вірить в Україну. Але я скажу вам, якщо проводити опитування в Америці, ви автоматично отримаєте 30% людей, які вірять, що сонце сходить на заході або на південному сході. Я їх просто не враховую. Тож 100% ви ніколи не отримаєте, але факт у тому, що від 68 до 70% американців підтримують Україну. І лише 2% справді підтримують те, що робить Росія. Це показує, що американський народ з Україною. Не слухайте Вашингтон. Вашингтон на свій погляд. Саме тому його називають болотом. Але американці загалом захоплюються боротьбою України, розуміють її і підтримують Україну. Гарне питання. Не знаю. Ми знаємо, що росіяни не хотіли бачити мене в цій переговорній команді. І це прикро, тому що до них прислухалися, і треба було сказати, Ви не обираєте нашого переговорника. Ми його обираємо. Думаю, сталося так, що вони дозволили Путіну вплинути на це, а потім почали використовувати його друзів. І я хотів би залишитися представником і щодо України, і щодо Росії, але цього не сталося. Тож я сказав, це рішення президента. Він президент, він ухвалює такі рішення, не я.
І зупинилися. Але американці й далі говорять із людьми, близькими до Путіна, про бізнес та енергетику. Чи не покращить Росія відносини зі Сполученими Штатами ще до завершення війни?
Я думаю, що люди, які говорять про бізнес-угоди з росіянами, поводяться нерозумно. І Путін нав'язав їм своє бачення світу. Хотілося б, щоб вони зробили крок назад і зрозуміли реальність. Вони сподіваються, знаєте, я хотів би їздити на Мазераті, але не їжджу і, мабуть, не буду. І він каже їм, ми дамо вам Мазераті, і вони вірять. Думаю, деякі з цих переговорників поводяться нерозумно. Вони справді не розуміють, з ким мають справу, і не розуміють українців. Жоден.
Welcome back to the SCIF. Big show today. We're going to focus on Ukraine. We think we want to talk about the concept of an end game. We are moving toward an end game, possibly in Iran and possibly in Ukraine. We have the midterm elections coming. I think we're going to see big changes, hopefully for the positive, and all our work over the last 6 years is going to pay off. But we're going to continue to focus on ending the Ukraine war, and that's what today's show is about, to give you an update and where we're going in the future. I want to say hello to the crew in the chat. You're cleared hot. Whatfinger.com, great aggregator site. They post a lot of our stuff, and we really appreciate it. One note I wanted to make is I received a note from somebody who watches the audio podcast saying, you know, you have all that foreign language on the front of the show. Do people really speak all those languages? And that is the cold open, where we think it's important for you to understand what's going on in the world, and we have subtitles. So if you're on just the audio on the podcast, I'm sorry, but you need to find the video to see what that is. But they all have subtitles. Usually we don't throw anything up unless there's English on there with it. Want to give you just a heads up to, if you're in the Miami area, come down on September 25th. We're going to have a fantastic event at Versailles in Little Havana in Miami. That's where Trump spoke a while back. And fabulous food. We're going to have light hors d'oeuvres and light breakfast and coffee. Come down the morning of Friday, September 25th. We're going to have a fantastic event at Versailles. I think it's 9 to 11 in the morning on the 25th of September. We're going to have some great speakers and focus on the growing conflicts in the Caribbean, how it's going to impact Miami and the entire movement by the U.S. to create hemispheric defense. So we're going to have some great guests. You can check out that link. Just go to miamiindependent.com and come by and see us. Get your tickets while you can. There's not many seats. There's only about 80 slots, so it's not that huge of a venue. So get them now. You saw Israeli elections coming up. You saw the opposition talking about Netanyahu, but still saying, you know, we need a strong army. We need, this is our land, blah, blah, blah. So that is all a thing happening in Israel. We're going to report on that. In Ukraine, former U.S. General Kellogg is bloviating extensively. Pete Blaber and I are going to talk about it a little later in the show. By the way, second segment, I've got Alex from Kyiv coming on, who's going to talk about what's the latest on the front and what's happening politically. And then Pete Blaber and I are going to talk about more in depth as to what's happening in the more propaganda movement around Europe, etc. You also saw Syria. There's a big push to make Syria part of the world, I guess, community. And there's a big push to make al-Sharaa, who used to be Golani, who used to be Al-Qaeda, respectable. So you saw him paying for a meal and giving a speech with a Visa card, meaning they're back on the financial system globally after the sanctions were removed. All right, we're going to be back. Let me do the mission brief real quick. Today is August 27th. I'm your host, Todd Wood. Here's your mission brief. Russia permanently moves east, the Eastern Conference in Vladivostok. I want to inform you about that a little later. Netanyahu says he's on board with Trump, continue the economic siege on Iran. Looks like that's the way forward for the Trump administration. And Pashinyan in Armenia destroying Armenian Christianity in the Armenian Apostolic Church. Hasan Piker's revenge and private credit markets and Ed Dowd. So a lot to talk about. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embraer team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. Going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, and our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Luxpeer 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to the SCIF. Let's talk MyPillow real quick before we move to Alex. Go to mypillow.com. Use promo code CDM. It's that time of the year. Look at that. Bedding, sheets, towels, slippers, all of that for big sales going on at mypillow.com. All of you, most of you, many of you have kids going off to college. I know I do, and they are going to need stuff. So for that flat, for that room, etc., get it from mypillow.com. Don't go to the big box retailers. Look what Mike has to sell on the site. It's over 700 products, I think, now. So mypillow.com, mystore.com. check it all out and buy there. Don't buy from the big box retailers who want to hurt you, and you get free media. You're helping free media at the same time. So promo code CDM at mypillow.com. All right, we're going to talk Ukraine now. I'm going to bring in Alex, who's a good friend of the show, and I want to find out what's going on the front. Alex, thanks for joining me.
Hello, Todd.
Hi. So I have some slides from you, but I just wanted to get you on and give us an update because there's so much happening politically. There's turmoil inside the government. People are being fired and people are being walked out in handcuffs and indicted for corruption. Is it all theater? And then what's going on at the front? I'll turn it over to you.
Well, it's a circus. It's a circus of cocaine addicts, clowns, corruptioners, and special agents of Ukrainian special security agencies who lost any control of their honesty, their consciousness, and everything is on sale. Everybody is on sale. They set up everybody. They set up each other. There are internal factional conflicts in all illegitimate parts of the government of Ukraine. It is an agony. I'm expecting like disorganized, dysfunctional collapse and just big bang, like boo. I'm expecting it and I'm laughing. I'm really expecting it within I don't know, from weeks to several months, and we have some rumors that the setup is being planned. So we will see it from several weeks to several months.
So there's a saying on Wall Street that things, collapse very slowly and then immediately all at once. You think it's going to be something like that? Is that what you foresee?
Yes, I think it will be in the matter from approximately 3 weeks to approximately 2.5 months, maybe even before Christmas.
Yeah.
I think there will be some government scandal, much larger, much more aggressively, but it will be like disorganized turmoil, something like this.
Got you. Well, what is with all this people walking out in handcuffs, like the woman that was running the presidential office? I mean, obviously they're all involved in corruption, but is it just like one criminal throwing out the other? Is that?
Yes, it is a setup, and I have some slides regarding Budanov and Mudra.
Yeah, okay.
So if you can open, or we could take a look.
Yeah.
So the situation right now in Ukraine is that Soros, who led Alex Soros and George Soros, and the criminal oligarchs who are in contact with Soros, Pinchuk, Kuchma, and Firtash, they led the politics and decisions in the war and in the government of Ukraine. So they conflicted among each other. So right now Soros has parted ways with Zelensky and his puppets in Ukraine. So that's why Soros orchestrated the attack on puppets of Zelensky. They have not yet attacked Zelensky directly. Well, you can say that it was an attack on Zelensky, but it was kind of the attack on the puppets of Zelensky and the attack of the inner circle of Zelensky. I mean, it all started with Yermak several months ago, but Yermak is not out of the decision-making process, but right now they attack whom they want to attack. So let's take a look at the next slide. And the scandal of that started approximately 2 weeks ago, started when the NABU is under the influence of Soros, of course, and NABU is influenced by some agents from the Department of State from the United States. But NABU is like an instrument. NABU is not an anti-corruption bureau or anything. It's an instrument for political influence.
It's a weapon, right, for one
It's a
political
weapon.
party to use against the other. Yeah.
It's not an agency. NABU was created by the illegal agents from affiliated with the United Kingdom and the United States and Ukraine in order to establish the control of money laundering and actually control the money laundering investigations and actually stop the money laundering investigations in Ukraine. Well, anyways,
let me interrupt. Yeah. NABU was the one that was involved in going after Trump. Artem Sitnik said on tape that he was helping Hillary Clinton go after Trump. So back to you.
Yes, exactly. So NABU is a political weapon. It was created by legal and illegal agents from two countries outside of Ukraine. So NABU is a political weapon. NABU is not a governmental institution. It's anti-constitutional. And NABU is penetrated by double, triple agents and people who work for NABU. They also take part in some corruptionary processes and so on. But anyways, NABU is being influenced by Soros and influenced from the United Kingdom. And there was a decision to start attacking Zelensky through his puppets, minions. We call them minions. So Budanov is a minion. Budanov is the picture moved on the text because this is a PPT file, so you can move the picture a bit right. Budanov is Budyonnovitz. Budanov and surname is Budanov. He used to be the head of the intelligence service of Ukraine, but he was appointed to be the head of administration of Zelensky. Most probably, Budanov was appointed there by his puppet masters from London, and it was meant. Budanov appointment was meant to control Zelensky. However, Budanov and Zelensky conflicted on some money laundering activities. Budanov played the role in some peace negotiations for peace with Russia, but he failed. Budanov also failed with some of the money laundering activities of Zelensky and the clan of Zelensky. And this is why, and also Budanov made a lot of tactical and operational mistakes with the front line. He went into the conflict with the Ministry of Defense, and Ministry of Defense in Ukraine is used to launder the billions of dollars from several countries. And Budanov tried to control the money laundering in the Ministry of Defense. It did not work. So he conflicted this. He conflicted with Fedorov, the fake Minister of IT technology. So basically, the intelligence service of Ukraine conflicted with the rest of the legitimate government of Ukraine. And
this is a mafia.
It's mafia. It's a governmental corruption cartel.
People need to understand that this is hundreds of billions of dollars coming in, all like cheese for the mafia mice. I mean, they're just gorging themselves on all this money that they're laundering, moving offshore, getting more and more rich, and they're fighting over it. Is that what's happening?
It is what's happening, exactly. So the Soros and some forces from London City, they decided to remove Budanov, whom they placed, because Budanov failed to work with them in the proper direction. So Budanov had like double or triple agenda, and Budanov also worked for his own personal enrichment. So what we started to see 2 weeks ago is that there was an organized media attack from Soros-affiliated and NPO NGO media controlled by either former USAID sources or embassy-related sources or London-related sources or oligarchs, media oligarchs from the United States who control the media in Ukraine. So all those sources started to orchestrate the media attack on Budanov. And you can see some pictures from various Soros-affiliated sources which attacked Budanov publicly. And NABU has already prepared the suspicion. And after the suspicion, they will arrest Budanov. So the puppet masters in London decided that Budanov is too stupid for them to work for them. And this is why they issued the attack order for Budanov and his minions. So Budanov has minions, and Zelensky has minions, and Budanov is a minion of Zelensky, and Budanov also hired some other minions, like, please go to the next slide. And 2 weeks ago, the deputy of Budanov, her name is Irina Mudra. Mudra means wise woman, wise woman. So this wise woman, Irina, worked her career through restructuring of banks in Ukraine, and anywhere she appeared as the head of bankruptcy procedure or cleanup of the bank, that bank collapsed.
So just so our audience knows, you have a lot of experience in this in this area, so you know.
And I'm having fun with this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Irina Mudra is like a supervisor of the banking sector from the office of the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, through Budanov. And Irina Mudra was appointed as the deputy of Budanov in order to oversee the banks and in order to oversee the money laundering through the banks of Ukraine. So she's a mafia woman. And she was sent to Sensbank to get the bribes through Sensbank, which is the former Alpha Bank, Russian bank. But the Ukrainian government seized this bank through the fiscalization purpose. I mean, it was a government raider attack. But the bank did not become a government entity. It has become the money laundering center, like the special purpose vehicle to launder the money through the Minister of Finance. So the Minister of Finance knew about this, and the Minister of Finance, Marchenko and Irina Mudra and Budanov and Zelensky and Pyshny, the head of NBU, they used several governmental entities in the banking sector of Ukraine to launder billions of dollars. And Mudra was sent into Sensbank to negotiate on some bribes in order to release some minions out of NABU protocols. And NABU, which is a political and economical weapon of external agencies outside of Ukraine, they recorded Mudra and Budanov and Zelensky. So they recorded everybody. And
NABU is National Anti-Corruption Bureau.
Yes. Yes.
It's literally unconstitutional. It's just this organization that was set up in Ukraine by, outside intelligence agencies to use as a weapon to move politicians around how they want.
Yes, exactly.
Out, all that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So they issued suspicion to Irina Mudra, but Irina Mudra is the deputy of Budanov, and Budanov is also on those tapes. So Budanov also has been taped, and they arrested Irina Mudra. And when they arrested Irina Mudra, Zelensky fired Irina Mudra same day. And apparently Zelensky told Budanov to step into this situation and solve the situation with bribes to release Mudra with some additional bribes. So it's like, you need to get more bribes to release a person who didn't solve the bribes previously. So it's like bribe in a bribe.
Wow.
Yeah, and please go to the next slide.
Okay.
And okay, so it's another story already. So the situation right now is that, let me finish with Budanov. Previous slide, please.
Oh, you want back to, okay.
Yeah, please go to the previous slide. So the situation with Budanov is that Mudra has been arrested, so they're looking for some corruption ways to pay money to the court, and the court is also corrupted court. So the court has to take bribes and take the official payment as the pledge to release Mudra. So they are looking for 20 million hryvnia to pay officially to release Mudra.
Mm-hmm.
But the price to release Mudra is probably multiplied by 2 or 3 times in unofficial bribes to the court. And everything is being taped by NABU, and taping this, NABU is ready to issue the suspicion and arrest order to arrest Budanov.
So how do they tape this? Do they just have hack people's phones, or what do you think?
I personally think that all phones are being taped.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Mike Pompeo was appointed as head of the supervisory board of Kyivstar.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very sure that the same equipment has been installed in black rooms of all mobile providers in Ukraine. And they don't even need to install any microphones in rooms or whatever. So they just tape it from the cell phones of those criminal officials.
Yeah.
I don't think that the special agencies tape no adequate normal people, like ordinary people. They
could if they wanted to. I mean,
they can if they wanted to, but it's a paranoia. So don't get into the paranoia that you get taped all the time. There was a huge scandal when Michael Hayden and the guys from the CIA taped all Americans. But it's illegal. It's illegal to tape Americans, but it's not illegal to tape anybody outside of America. So they do it. But don't get into paranoidal form.
We're very paranoid here, Alex.
I hope you understand what I mean. You just need to have a laugh. I mean, if you're not a corruptioner, you don't get taped. That's it. I mean, this is the conclusion. Don't get into friends with Budanov and Mudra and Zelensky, and you don't get tapes. All right, so this is the story, and this is the preparation for the overthrow of the government of Ukraine. But the government of Ukraine is a regime. Well, it's worse than the regime. It's a dictatorship. It's a criminal, organized crime dictatorship right now in Ukraine. So the forces outside of Ukraine, they decided to overthrow Zelensky, arrest his minions, and install some other puppets instead of Budanov, Mudra, Yermak, Zelensky. So we will see some other minions incoming in the fall, maybe in October, in November, December. Maybe there will be some additional Maidan. There will be some turmoil, and this turmoil is also being affected by the war.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next slide.
Sure.
So the situation in Ukraine is basically idiotic. But the most interesting part of this week is, of course, the visit of the director of the CIA to Moscow, and they flew in on C-17 Globemaster military airplane. So this tells us that this meeting was organized by the Pentagon together with the CIA, and they showed what people need to see. I mean, people don't need to see much. So that means that there was no requirement to take the military airplane with.
Yeah, that was an intentional. Here's the big airplane, American plane over Moscow. That was intentional. Yes.
Yeah. So and they had 3 cars inside this airplane. I mean, they did not use the embassy cars. They did not use anybody from the embassy of the United States in Moscow. So people at the embassy were not notified by the director of the CIA in coming to Moscow. Plus, the military airplane doesn't belong through the chain of command to the CIA. So that means that the Minister of Defense of the United States and the main intelligence defense intelligence agency were involved in the organization of this visit to Moscow. Putin was not on those 3 meetings. There were 3 meetings in Moscow, so that means that there were 1 or 2 more people on this airplane because there were 3 cars.
Yep.
And that means that the director of the CIA was accompanied by some high rank general, 4-star general, most probably, in order to have the meeting with the chief of armed forces of Russia, and they probably had the meeting with the chief of intelligence service of Russia. Naryshkin and most probably Bortnik were on those meetings because they had 3 meetings.
Mm-hmm.
And they discussed, probably they discussed something what's going on in Ukraine, but Ukraine is not on the plate to discuss in Moscow. They discussed something else. They discussed either military questions, issues, or they discussed Iran, and they discussed the tensions among China, Russia, Korea, Iran, and the United States. And Ukraine is not a priority question to discuss, but it was not on the plate to discuss.
I think that, I don't know if it was you or someone sent me something that possibly it was a quid pro quo. You help us with Iran, we'll back out of Ukraine fully. I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. I cannot guess right now. So we will see later. Yeah. Because this was the intelligence operations, and Wall Street Journal and Politico and some other media, they posted
they're pushing
cover-up stories. But cover-up story right now is that the director of the CIA flew into Moscow to warn Putin not to attack Latvia and Litva. It is the cover-up. It's a smoke. It is a smoke. But this operation is classified as an intelligence operation, and that's why they utilized cover-up through Wall Street Journal, and the same cover-up was used by Russian intelligence sources, and they cover up the meetings and the reasons to meet in Russian media, and they divert the attention of people or analysts to something else. Well, the conclusion is it's good that they have this meeting. And
it is good. Yeah,
it's good. So let them meet and they let them negotiate directly. I have been telling this for so many years. They need to negotiate directly.
I completely agree.
This is the way to negotiate. Exactly.
If it could be also that everybody realizes that the end is coming in Ukraine, and they are just planning, to have some kind of orderly transition or something.
Exactly. Well, it will be transition in Ukraine will be disorderly, but anyways, they need to plan it.
Sure. Yeah,
and I'm laughing about this because people in Ukraine think that they can decide anything, but they do not decide anything. They are just puppets and minions and criminals. And I'm waiting for the order from some intelligence sources of the United States and Russia to arrest the criminals in Ukraine. And this will bring the end of the war.
Well, people need to realize that there's a big difference between the people of Ukraine who've been very good to me and the government of Ukraine. I think Zelensky learned Ukraine like 9 years ago, Ukrainian. He's not the guy to run the country. Because he really doesn't have the country's interest at heart. So, but that we've seen that everywhere. We saw it with Biden. We saw it with Macron, with Marriage, with person after person who's been installed that doesn't have the country's or the people's interest at heart. So, what else? Do you have anything else, Alex?
Yeah, let's take a look at the last slide. And you asked me to prepare some overview of the front line. The front line is collapsing. There are 3 points of the front line where Russians attack. So, because the previous, approximately 2 months ago, there was an attempt to negotiate de-escalation with Russia, but the Ukrainian government was influenced by the masters from London, and London escalated the attacks on oil and gas refineries in Russia, and Russia decided to strike back, and Russia right now is playing with like a cat with a mouse. And Russia blocked 2 seaports of Ukraine. So that means that right now there's a grain block and metallurgical block. All metallurgical entities in Ukraine have been halted because they cannot produce, because they don't have coke. Coke and coal. They need coke and coal. And coke and coal mines have been already occupied on the territory of Dobropilya and Pokrovsk. So Ukraine as the country has lost all coke and coal mines in Donbass. So that means that the remaining metallurgical facilities in Dnipropetrovsk and Kryvyi Rih, they cannot operate because they don't have coke and coal.
Yeah.
They don't have grade A coal.
And that's a big deal because that's a huge export of Ukraine, the wheat and everything else. And so it's hurting the Ukrainian economy. And this is pushing for the collapse, right?
Yes. And before the war, I can give you some numbers just for comparison purposes. Just before the war, the metallurgical sector of Ukraine and coal sector of Ukraine comprised approximately 35% of the economy. And this is why people who say that the Ukrainian economy is increasing, growing, I mean, they're idiots. Coke and coal sector and has collapsed. Metallurgical sector has collapsed. So this is immediately minus 35% of the GDP of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And this means that if coal sector collapses and metallurgical sector collapses, logistical sector of export of coal and metallurgical produce also has collapsed. So this is additional minus $2 billion collapse. So this is additional minus 5% of GDP collapse. So this is the beginning of the domino effect, and the government of Ukraine will have cross-agency defaults.
Will the Europeans pay up?
Well, Europeans promised $40 billion to cover the budget deficit gap this year. But today is what? The end of August. $40 billion have not arrived.
Yeah.
And they will not arrive at the end of the year. Europeans will not send this money. They will lie to Zelensky because they already they will receive additional notification from Soros agents or whoever plans the disorderly collapse of Ukrainian government, and they will not send the money to default state. I mean, it's illogical. I mean, everything in Ukrainian war is illogical and irrational.
Yeah.
But there's a rationality behind the irrational.
There is an agenda for sure. And what do you think? The last question: what do you think the agenda is if Soros is now managing the collapse? What do they want out of this?
Well, they want to change Zelensky because Zelensky has
run his course.
Has failed, and Zelensky laundered too much of money, even from them. So they allowed him to launder the money.
Yeah.
But Zelensky laundered too much of money from Europe and from the United States, and that's why the people who orchestrated Zelensky, they will need to change him.
Yeah.
And Zelensky tries to get protection in Europe, but European states did not guarantee any protection to Zelensky. So Zelensky is stuck.
This is no different than Brooklyn 80 years ago with the mafia. I mean, it's just a bigger subset of that kind of protection racket, as you said.
Yes, it's a racketeering state. It's a failing domino racketeering criminal mafia failing state.
Mhm.
And there will be disorderly, scandalous, but really, really stupid arrests, collapse of governmental aid agencies in Ukraine. There will be a huge scandal with the pension funds, with the Ministry of Defense, which is not the governmental entity in Ukraine. A lot of truth will come to the news, and people will cry. Some people will cry like crocodiles,
Mhm.
and some people will simply laugh because they, I mean, professors, you, me, I mean, our colleagues, all of us will be like, told you, laughable,
well,
pathetic, preposterous, stupid.
yeah, it's sad. Last question, really. Will Russia take Odessa and maybe Zaporizhia? What do you think?
Yes, there is a plan.
Mm-hmm.
They have already declared this plan that Odessa and Mykolaiivska Oblast have to be submitted to Russia, and this means that, well, there are a lot of assets of London affiliated investors in Odessa and Mykolaiv, Glasgow. The shipyards of Mykolaiv are controlled by British investors, and this is why London will try to have a revenge on this, and this is why they're in the stalemate. The history rhymes. I mean, London wanted Mykolaiv and Odessa for some long time, so they tried to have this revenge.
Just research the Crimean War. History rhymes.
Exactly.
And, it's fascinating, but you know, and I'll just reiterate: we're not pro-Russia or pro-Ukrainian here. In fact, you're very pro-Ukrainian as far as
I'm a patriot of Ukraine.
You are a patriot of Ukraine. Yes, we just see criminal governments, and just like under Biden, we don't like it. So, Alex, thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome, Todd.
Okay, take care.
All right, bye.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
The pandemic, we can never be caught unprepared again. And so many Americans, when COVID hit, they had nothing in the house. Stores were shut down, and doctors' offices were shut down. And even if doctors prescribed drugs, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, pharmacists wouldn't fill the prescriptions. That was a nightmare.
Now the situation is much worse. We have these horrible supply chain problems. In our emergency medical kit at the Wellness Company, we have 8 prescription drugs that are all potentially life-saving.
Most people who died with COVID, they died in the hospital because they didn't receive early treatment.
Every American family should have one of these.
I can tell you the Wellness Company kit is the answer.
With my 35 years of experience, our team at U.S. Asset Management can deliver professional investment management, financial planning to help you target your goals, and even specialized divorce financial analysis if you need it. We are here to help you make better decisions with your money. Call U.S. Asset Management today, and let's get to work in your financial future.
Welcome back to the SCIF. Hope you enjoyed Alex. I want to give a shout out to the wellness company. You saw the advertisement there. Go to twc.health/CDM, promo code CDM. You get 10% off. Look, you need to protect your family and get one of these emergency medical kits. This especially is one for respiratory illnesses. It has the nebulizer and the steroids in it, all the antibiotics you might need for whatever pandemic is coming down the pike. So there's also the main emergency medical kit, which has other things, the travel emergency kit, which I take everywhere because, you know, if you get bit by a tick or whatever, you have everything you need to survive and thrive on the road. So check out twc.health/CDM, promo code CDM. You get 10% off. And also check out their nutraceuticals, the spike support for those who've been vaccinated or even those who have not been, because the shedding also created a lot of problems in people's skin conditions, etc. The spike support can help with that. The weight loss, the parasite cleanses, the memberships, the doctor's visits, all of it. Spend some time as twc.health is re-engineering healthcare. So twc.health/CDM. Use promo code CDM. But I wanted to make a few comments. We're an intel show. We're not an activist show. We're here to bring you the best intel so you can make the best decisions in your life, in your business, wherever traveling, etc. So that's the purpose of this show. And on that vein, we're also a wire service. We have reporters all over the world. We're not just reading Telegram channels. We literally have people everywhere, as you saw with Alex. So we know what's going on, and we're trying to bring you the best curated information we can, meaning there's so much, it's a fire hose, and we're trying to get you what you need to know for the day. On that note, please subscribe to our socials. Please, if you haven't done it, we need to grow our X channels. We lost 500,000 followers a few years ago. We're recovering, but it's too slow. So CDM_press. Please hit CDM_press and follow us there. Follow us on Rumble. Subscribe on Rumble CDM1. And YouTube, we need to grow that channel. If you haven't, even if you don't watch us there, we load the show afterwards. Please just put CDM Press in the search bar, and CDM will come up, and subscribe to us there. So that's very helpful. Let's talk about some stories. Netanyahu says the siege should continue on Iran. He's in line with Trump, he says, which is somewhat of a change as he moves into the elections. He got kind of racked on the knuckles by Tom Barak in Syria, the U.S. ambassador to Syria and Turkey. Actually, I think he's a special envoy to Syria. I'm not sure his exact title, but he came after Netanyahu when Netanyahu bombed Syrian airbase because of Turkish involvement. So now it looks like Netanyahu is on board with Trump as we go into the midterms and the Israeli election. This one we've been talking about for some time, but in Armenia, this is on our Eastern European site, Tsarism.com, which again is not pro-Russian. It's simply it covers the region of the former Tsarist Empire from Poland all the way to San Francisco. So Pashinyan in Armenia, the prime minister, is destroying the Christian church. He's a full-fledged card-carrying globalist, and he doesn't care about the people of Armenia or Christianity. It's all about just getting in line with the globalist capitals in Europe and the EU. So fascinating article on Tsarism.com. Please check it out. Hasan Piker gets his revenge. The Democratic Socialists of America are controlling the Democratic Party. A lot of people are freaking out. You saw the influencer op against Hasan Piker over the weekend. You can check this story out on cdm.press. A lot going on there. We're putting out so much content. It's insane. Dozens of pieces a day, dozens. And we really are proud of what we're doing, and you'll be aware of the big stories if you go to CDM. Also on Tsarism, sanctions against Russia backfire as they consolidate in the Far East. The big conference coming up in Vladivostok soon, September 1, with all the Asian partners. So Asia is on board with Russia. And again, we're going to be reporting on this. We've been so busy. We were trying to get up to Alaska to talk about possible coordination across the Bering Strait with the Boring Company and others. Stand by on that coverage. We'll get there. Also, our business channel is also growing. The Manhattan.press, great article by one of our fantastic contributors, Ed Dowd, Ford BlackRock portfolio manager, talking about the insurance and private equity nexus. Really important stuff. We put out some really good content on the Manhattan. So if you're looking for a third business channel, we're not as big as CNBC yet. We're going to get there though. And this is our beta, if you will. So please check us out there. All right, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere. Right back after this break with Pete Blaber and Ukraine SITREP.
A warm welcome here at the National Press Club. Welcome to the journalists, welcome to the Embraer team, and welcome to the other guests that we have here. Going to announce, and as some of you guessed it right when they came in, the first E2 order by an American operator. And that operator is Avello. We believe this is really a strategic shift to unlock profitability for the customer. I'm very pleased that we have Andrew Levy here as the CEO of Avello, and I'm very pleased to give the stage to share a little bit more about what Avello is going to do with the E2 195. Thank you very much.
Couldn't be more excited to be here as part of this historic announcement. We have such a great cultural fit as companies, so we're very, very excited to be Embraer's newest customer. We launched our airline in April of 21, and our target is focusing on small secondary airports of large metro areas. We've carried over 8 million customers since we started on 63,000 flights. And we've done all these things with 1,200 of the greatest crew members I could ever imagine having, and many of them are here with me today. This is the right airplane for us. It's going to open up opportunities for us that no other aircraft can serve. The best thing about the airplane, of course, is you will not find a middle seat on this airplane. It doesn't exist. We won't have any to offer. It's going to be the best cabin in the United States, and we're so excited about that. This is going to elevate our experience to the highest level, and we think our customers are absolutely going to love the airplane.
MyPillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium MyPillows that adjust your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pillows you'll ever own. King size only $24.98, queen size only $19.98. These are Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, as low as $29.98. Luxpear's 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept. Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. Plus, free shipping options available when you order today. So don't delay, order now.
Welcome back to the SCIF. By the way, we're going to be ramping up our conferences. I talked to you earlier about the Miami conference on September 25th in Miami on war in the Caribbean. Nobody else is doing this. Go to miamiindependent.com if you're in the area and want to go. We may offer a live stream option. I think we will as well. So that may be there. And also, we're going to be doing other conferences around the country, and we're looking at several on finance and markets. So stand by for that. But we have a lot of expertise in the capital markets. And if you remember, I'm going to tell you, we were talking about gold, and did I not have Ira Bishotsky on and said, back up the truck on gold? Well, look at what happened. We were in the middle of that chart and boom. So, but here's what I want to tell you. We're only in the early stages of gold because we're moving into, and that's precious metals in general, we're moving into a very uncertain time. And so it's very important that if you have assets like in an IRA or cash assets that you want to protect, check out cdmmetals.com and go to Advisor Metals and talk to them. You can fill out the form at cdmmetals.com and they will get back with you. And I promise you, they're good people. They're not pushy salesmen. They're just talk about your situation. And I know Ira very well. We've checked everything out about him, his banking relationships, his IRA custodian relationships, his regulatory situation. He's a great guy. We've had fantastic feedback, people working with him. I had a woman the other day, a month or so ago, say, I just went and visited my gold at the IRA custodian. So she was very happy with what's going on with precious metals. So cdmmetals.com, you can find everything there. If you go there and you call Advisor Metals, please tell them CDM sent you. It's really important. Okay. On that note, also, we have a lot of new viewers of the audience, a lot of new people from around the world. Actually, a lot coming in from South Korea due to our AWeb coverage with Bill Quinn. But if you haven't checked out our NOAA subscriptions, let me give just one more ping for that. my.cdm.press, and you get access to all of our content, financial, global markets, geopolitical, culture. We're adding culture across in our vertical papers in Miami and Georgia, Manhattan, etc. We're adding news flows on our Telegram channels and on our X channels. So we're just getting really better every day as we add resources and viewers. So please support us. Go to my.cdm.press and sign up for our no ad subscriptions. You get access to everything with no ads we put out, and you're helping free media. So it's a no-brainer. All right. I sat down with Pete Blaber yesterday, and we had a great discussion on what's going on in Ukraine. We were hoping for a special guest, but that didn't work out yesterday, so maybe again soon. But I hope you enjoy this with Pete Blaber. Always good with Pete. So we're back with Pete Blaber. And Pete, I feel like there's some kind of climax coming here, man. I feel like we're getting to the apex of this war. I mean, there's a lot of, I see desperation on the European side, but also a desire, really a rabid desire to take this to the next level. And you had Radcliffe go to Moscow and the MAC, well, they don't call it MAC anymore, whatever. It's not Military Airlift Command. I'm dating myself, but anyway, a big transport C-17 to Moscow with the CIA director. Where do you think we're going, man?
Yeah, so just to go on the, Radcliffe and the C-17, every wild conspiracy about that, popped up across, of course, the propaganda network, and, everything except what I think it was. And, it's partially my positivity based on some of the discussions you and I have had with people. But, my thought was he's going there because he's sharing. The only reason you send your head of intelligence is if you're sharing intelligence or talking about intelligence. And my thought is he was going there as part of this back channel negotiation that's going on with Russia. And the reality of it, the reality of the situation on the ground is what is driving it, as you just mentioned. And, I think we have a clip from a little story, Fedorov, just the fact that, the former Minister of Defense is saying those words that, we're down to what could be the last weeks or months before this thing collapses is unprecedented, because there's such a lock on reality and anyone with a dissenting opinion speaking up in Ukraine. So I'm not convinced, just to our viewers, this guy, I think is definitely not the savior that Ukraine needs. His history tells that. He's 35 years old. He's an IT person. That's his whole career. Zelensky is his mentor, sponsor, the guy who made him, who brought him into government back in 19, backed his studio, which is, the same thing Zelensky has. So I don't think he's the savior. He tried to change in his 6 months as mod, he tried to implement a massive digital everything strategy, and it made the already broken logistics system broke even worse. So I just want to say that up front. I don't think he's the savior, but the fact he's saying those words out loud is unprecedented. And just a very quick,
let me just read that sentence. Let me just read that sentence. Let me read the sentence. He said, Ukraine appears to be losing the war against Russia. And as you said, on a steady basis, and there's not much time left. Just so our audience hears that, the audio audience. But go ahead.
Yeah, so just what backs that up is what we've been talking about the whole time, the reality on the ground, which is, in a light infantry war like this, and I'm going to come back to that hyphenated word light infantry a few times here. It's the only reality there is. You can blow up a Amazon equivalent warehouse, the wild berries. It's not doing anything on the battlefield except what we now know, taking away resources from the battlefield, which is Zelensky made a massive gamble with that 40-day operation, which we talked about the last two episodes, because he took those assets from the front lines. And what it's created is this massive negative feedback loop where every time he does this surge in drone attacks and missile attacks on Russia proper, he takes those assets away from the front lines, weakens the front lines, further gains by Russia on the ground. And, they end up being, instead of 40 days closer to victory, 40 days closer to a catastrophic defeat, which is where I think, we're on the verge of. Your senses are correct. 3 key areas: Donbass, Zaporizhia, and Odessa. The front lines are collapsing on all 3. Especially Odessa, which, Ukraine's essentially landlocked now. No freighters are coming in or going out in the Black Sea. Russia controls the Black Sea now. In a development that's new, Russia is back using its close air support assets to launch Iskanders and other missiles. So their control over the Black Sea, they have air superiority, which just, they already shut down the ports of Ukraine. This is just locking them tight and showing, just another notch up in the level of control. But, Zelensky made that choice to begin attacking, the economic infrastructure of Russia. And this is what happened in response. Back to that do loop, the whole purpose of the Ukrainian strategy is to somehow cause the people of Russia to rise up and overthrow Putin. And this, and I'll remind our viewers, that was the rationale in 2014 for overthrowing the Ukrainian government, and then unbelievably and senselessly on their part, then thinking that by attacking Donbass and killing ethnic Russians, they would do the same thing. They would cause so much discord in Russia toward Putin that the people would rise up and overthrow Putin. It sounds almost, like it couldn't have actually happened that way, but that's why they overthrew. That was their plan. And again, it just emphasizes why, when you have these non-elected, never been to combat, superior to everyone type people who think their academic curriculum vitae transfers into a combat curriculum vitae. They've been wrong from the beginning, and they're still wrong. And, for everyone, it's just another example of why propaganda is so dangerous. They just keep pouring it on, making their own reality. And that's what we're looking at right now.
Before we move on Radcliffe, he was pretty pro-Ukraine. I remember that scene in the Oval Office or in the cabinet meeting when, you had Hegseth on one side and Radcliffe on the other. And when Trump said, I'm going to, get weapons to Ukraine, Radcliffe had this big smile on his face and Hegseth was obviously pissed off. So I wonder what Radcliffe is doing. I mean, what do you think is happening there?
Yeah, my thought is he's going to them and, beginning the process. I think he's been forced to come around. I think, Trump realizes there was something about this that required, your head of intelligence. And
Yeah,
I think also Trump has hopefully come to the conclusion that Wickoff and Kirshner are not, the best foot forward for the U.S. I believe that, a successful real estate, it's not saying that a realtor can't be a fantastic negotiator. Most of them are very good. They're salespeople. And so they know all the tactics of persuasion, but he doesn't know, history. He doesn't know diplomacy. He doesn't understand military context. And I think all three of those things are required if we're going to deal realistically with Russia and Ukraine at this point, moving forward, based on what's already happened. So
cool. Well, they also sent their best PR man, General Kellogg, to Ukraine.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's worth showing your article on that, because it was a great article. I read it as soon as it came out. And, we've already talked about him, and it's hard to, his every prediction he's made has been diametric opposite thing has happened. He bumbled his way through Ukraine, using personal cell phones. And now here he is giving this interview to Ukraine. I don't know if he thought this wouldn't be seen outside the closed Ukrainian news network, but just the things he states in the interview are, again, don't make any sense and just fly in the face of common sense. Telling him that women, I think the quote, I can't see it, but women fight at least as well as men. And that's just not true. It doesn't mean women can't serve, and they obviously, are hugely valuable in all of those non-combat positions. But this is not just a light infantry war. It's the most grueling light infantry war since World War II and World War I. There's no substitute for the ardor, the pain, and the competency required of these light infantrymen on this battlefield. And, in that article, there's a Ukrainian general who backs up what Kellogg says, and, says something to the effect of, war has changed. You don't need strength anymore. It's about technology. And that's just a massive fraudulent statement. More than ever, it requires light infantry. The drones don't take ground, and they can't take and hold ground. And you can't fly a drone unless you have a somewhat secure area for your drone control technology and your drone pilots, which have to be within a certain amount of kilometers of the front line. So, even the drone pilots have to be light infantrymen. And since Russia is so effective and so focused on hunting them down, it's not a job for the faint of heart either. And so just on every level, what he's saying, but to come out and say it now, and to, that this is somehow an answer to begin drafting women for combat jobs, is incredible. Ukraine's lost over 1 million men. That's not changing. They're losing. They're back to 1,000 a day status right now. And it's in large part, again, because their strategy is so faulted. These guys are locked into fixed defensive positions. It's not a flexible defense. It's not a defense that flexes where needed. And it's continues to collapse because of that. A rigid line will collapse if it has one hole in it, because the fear and panic that is instilled once the enemy is behind you is too much to overcome for anyone. It's just human nature. You're gonna panic. You're gonna constantly be obsessed over, should I stay or should I go? And then to know you can't go is, begins the cycle of senselessness, claustrophobia, panic. It just does not work. And that's what's happening, as I mentioned, in Zaporizhia, Donbass, and Odessa down south. And so, not sugarcoating it. We haven't said it before. Your intro was correct. We're on the verge of a potential massive catastrophe for Ukraine, with their lines buckling in 3 key places and nothing left behind those lines to protect them.
Well,
just to sum up on Kellogg, it's hard for me to believe what people will do for money, what they'll say. And to our viewers, it just shows you never ever listen to, just because someone's ex-military, doesn't mean they have credibility to talk about what's happening on some distant battlefield. In today's world, especially, where, these guys are making incredible amounts of money as influencers, incredible amounts of money laundered, through their families. It just doesn't work. So don't believe any of it. And in this case, we already have a history of fabrication from this guy. So just hard to believe, that he would stoop to that level and say those things in a time like this. His final words were, Ukraine is not winning, or Russia's not winning. Russia is losing. And he never backs up with any points. There's no way to that you can come out and say Russia's losing right now. There's no metric that they're losing by. And then he states, we're going to take every oblast back, including Crimea. And not only is that physically not possible based on the defenses that Russia's already put up, it's idealistically not possible, because the people of those oblasts will never go back, will never agree to be part of Ukraine again. And to not talk about that just shows another completely deceptive approach to explaining what's going on in Ukraine.
Well, I see this from a bigger, more macro standpoint as a continuing effort to depopulate. That's the only reason that they want this war to continue. There's no win here. So to send someone like Kellogg over just to say this crap that's obviously false, and then try to put women on the front line and into the meat grinder, it's destroying the fertility of the country. Obviously, I just think that's the end goal. And then you've got the UK all in with Burnham giving them, which I just want to say to me, and I had somebody comment, I put in an article out, it's on Real Clear Defense today, about him giving missile technology to Ukraine. And yeah, the Storm Shadow or whatever Scalp may be older, but still, that's no reason to give technology to a place that's going to be immediately sent to China. I mean, production. I mean, that's just, they sell to the highest bidder. That is insanity. And then you top on that the push for a nuclear war, where we're a NATO 5, Article 5 member and respondent, is just even more insanity. So I just think we got to pull back, as we've said over and over, from all of this. And I hope that's what Ratcliffe was doing. So we'll see.
Yeah, agree.
I've got some more articles here. Do you want me to put those up, or?
Yeah, I mean, because we're talking about this propaganda push. Desperate men and women make desperate moves, and you're seeing just sheer desperation right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is. Yeah, I think you should talk about this because you have such a great knowledge. First off, to remind our viewers, Freeland sounds very similar to Newland,
Yes.
Victoria Newland, and for good reason. They both are offspring. Their grandparents fought on the Ukrainian Nazi side.
Yes.
Against Russia in World War II. They're Western Ukrainians. They're hardcore. She's been, the finance minister of Canada, so the equivalent of, what Scott Bessent is today. And Canada sent her to Ukraine to be the finance minister of Ukraine. You can't make that up either. So she's in charge of what's called reinvestment, but what in general is called reinvestment and money laundering. She's in charge of the money laundering operation. So Ukraine, we've talked about totalitarianism. Their finance are now being run by a Canadian globalist. And again, you can't make that up. If you scroll down and look at some of those pictures, they're very telling also about what kind of person she is. Yeah. So this one, there's her with her, you know, her support team, and you could see they're probably all not paid anything, in their 20s, following her along, you know, carrying her stuff. Go to the next picture.
I think that picture keeps you up at night, Pete.
Yeah, I love this guy's. It does keep you up, but I love the guy's face who's carrying her two purses behind her. And this is, you know, this is why monarchies, if the globalists were in power in the middle centuries, they're the ones who support monarchies and monarchical rule, because that's the way they live their life. And you can see that with her and her life in Ukraine. But she claims in this thing, we need to conduct a psychological operation against U.S. citizens, which is, you know, also a first. You never tell the people you're conducting a psyop against that you're doing it, but she did. She couldn't contain herself. But more than that, it's so revealing, because that's the answer to everything for the Ukraine side, for the globalist Ukraine side. Just turn it into a psyop. Just lie about it, make something up, pound it through the airwaves that we control, and everything will be okay. But it's not going to be. And she can't change that reality on the battlefield. She can't change Russia's resolve. But, you know, showing this just is, again, another example of how desperate they are to hold on to this, you know, their own private Idaho, their own private bank that has no banking rules, no banking oversight, and their own private censorship industrial complex that has no FCC-like oversight, no one to tell them they can't do what they want to do as far as propaganda goes, and as far as manipulative information that throws elections. So the desperation, you know, the depopulation, I think, is embedded, but the desperation to me is because they're losing, and they're just doubling down on what got them here to this point instead of changing, which we all know is the definition of madness.
So let me, this is an article we put out, 2 years ago, December of 24, The Truth Behind Her Family Heritage. You can find this on cdm.press, just search for Freeland. If you scroll down, a lot of in-depth research here, family history, that's her grandfather, you know, all of it's there. Propaganda, you talk about that. He was a publisher of Krakow News. I mean, all of it is here. Nazi documents, that, you know, partying Nazis, her family. So it's all there. You can see it. We're not making this up. You can check it out yourself. And then
yeah, it's crazy. And again, you know, the answer is propaganda. She's why so many Canadians think that, you know, Trump is picking on them when he's not. He's just, from the beginning, he's just asked for reciprocal trade treatment, which, you know, every country should automatically embrace. How can you charge America massive tariffs on all dairy products, and when America doesn't charge any on you? Same with cars, which a lot of cars come from Canada. Also, they're manufactured up there because at one time it was cheaper to manufacture. That's no longer the case. But she was behind that NAFTA, you know, put their feet in the sand and don't move. And she's a big reason why they're in the predicament they're in today. But again, you know, a foreigner running accounts. And so this is just more of the propaganda, which is massive right now. It's throughout the globalist mainstream media. You know, this publication specifically, I believe, is just AI generated. if you just scroll down a little bit, because I show them most weeks as an example of massive propaganda. They don't even know enough. Just hold right there.
Yeah.
The article's about drones, but you can tell it's AI because they don't even know enough to show an actual drone. They keep showing missiles whenever they're talking about drones. But everything, all their articles, there were actually 10 links that we had. We're not going to subject our viewers to all 10 of them, but every one of them is constructed the same way. Ukraine's drone swarms have Putin worried, have Putin embarrassed. All these like emotional, inflictions or these effects, emotional effects. None of them say, changing the Russian economy, because it hasn't. These are pinpricks, and anyone who knows Russia and the Russian people knows that the more you directly attack them, the closer they get, the more unified they get, the more their resolve hardens, and that's what they've created in Russia. I said it last week. Russia doesn't need any propaganda for this war. In fact, the opposite is true. All they have to do is let the Russian people watch all the global news networks, and you listen to these politicians verbally exerting existential threats against Russia, their country, their leader, and they do it constantly. So, one of the things that's going on, the acts of desperation, is the Europeans are talking again about putting soldiers on the ground, and specifically France and Britain are talking about it. And what I believe is you're going to see another pilgrimage to the White House by Macron or Burnham or both. And
Burnham's already said, Burnham's already coming. He already said so.
Yeah, they're trying to convince Trump to look the other way and did not react to them putting ground troops into Ukraine, which, back to your original point, is just a one step closer to nuclear war, but one step closer to all those individuals being free game and being destroyed on the ground and causing a much worse situation. So the desperation's not going to change. We got to wrap our heads around that. I hope President Trump has wrapped his head around it. It's time to stop this, to stop the killing, and to find peace. And President Trump's probably the only one who can do that where we're at today.
I agree. And you've got Finland, you've got the UK, you've got the Baltic countries, you've got Germany, all really pushing for some kind of bigger conflict. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, they literally, Volkswagen, I think, is laying off 140,000 people because they just they don't have any manufacturing capacity anymore. And they're talking about entering a global war. I mean, it's just insanity. And again, it makes me think there's some bigger reason and agenda for all this. But anyway, any last thoughts, Pete?
I don't, Todd. I think that's it. And just hope President Trump gets it. Thinking positive about Radcliffe and his meeting over there, and we'll keep a close eye on things over the next few days.
Yep, and we'll be back next week for Ukraine Sit Rep. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, hope you enjoyed the SCIF today. We'll be back tomorrow with a bang-up show. Please sign up for our socials, CDM_press on X. Please hit that right now. We need to grow it. And YouTube, CDM Press, CDM1 on Rumble. Hit those no ad subscriptions. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today.